The World Bank Country Office in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, said that the hardship being faced by Nigerians due to fuel scarcity and the Naira redesign policy could escalate tensions as Africa's largest economy ahead of the elections. On the other hand, concerning fuel scarcity, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, Mile Kyari, has assured Nigerians that the lingering fuel scarcity will ease off next week. So joining us now on the show from our Abuja studios to discuss the fuel scarcity in Nigeria amid Naira redesigns, Honorable Musa Sarkin, a seasoned politician, National Assembly member, representing Gada Goroyo Gada, Federal Constituency of Sokoto State. He's also the chairman of the House Committee on Petroleum Upstream. Good to see you again, Honorable Sarkin. Happy New Year, if we've not said that already to you this year. Honorable Sarkin, what is really happening as regards the fuel scarcity, and why is it that, what role have you played, leading up to the position you hold in the National Assembly as regards ameliorating the challenges? Have you called IPMAN? Have you called Morman? Have you called all the stakeholders to order? Why did these last 5 months, and you, the National Assembly, there is to represent the people's interests, why did these last 5 months in the first place?
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning,
good morning, Nigerians. I'm glad you have raised these questions, and let me clarify one thing. Upstream and downstream are two distinct different sectors of the petroleum sector. The downstream is the one in charge of all the refined products and their transportation. The upstream, it has to do with the offshore exploration and crude marketing and so forth and so. However, having been in the parliament and having chaired this committee, I have learned a lot and I know much on this. What we are witnessing now is the outcome of the failure to remove subsidy ab initio from the previous governments up to this government. Subsidy issue has become a nightmare. Every government does not want to remove subsidy, believing that it is helping the masses. At one of our previous sessions here, I said it is not the masses that are being subsidized. Rather, it is you and I, the elites, who owns 2, 3, 4, 5 more cars that have been subsidized. Already there's no subsidy on kerosene. There's no subsidy on diesel. And these are the most important to the common man, which constitute more than 80% of the population of this country. The elites are less than 10%, and they are the ones being subsidized through the petroleum PMS. And the argument that we shall look into here is petroleum is an international commodity. Whether you produce it in your country or you buy it from other country, it's an international commodity. When you produce it and you don't refine it in your country, there's nothing much you can do to control the price, because it is the international market price that dictates whatever comes out of it. For example, now, if the Dangote refinery comes on board, or if any existing modular refinery in Nigeria, as it are of today, if they are to refine any barrel of oil, they are going to calculate it based on international price markup and based on the exchange rate of Naira to dollar. So if as long as you don't have control on this, there's no way you will continue to benefit from the oil you are producing in your country in respect to the issue of subsidy. This subsidy has been an issue over the time. It is most unfortunate, I have to say this clearly. Right from time immemorial, the NNPC became like a cash cow for the elites. So that they are taking advantage of the people. Anytime, whatever they do, they cover it with that they are providing services to Nigerians. As of today, all the refineries that we have, 4 of them, the Kaduna Refinery, the Warri Refinery, the Port Harcourt Refinery, are not functioning. And from time immemorial, all the previous governments, each government will give an ultimatum that in 18 years, they will upturn these refineries to productive capacity, to the highest full capacity. Until today, where we are, all these refineries are shut down. There have been so many arguments, there have been so many clamor that please sell these refineries. They are of no use to Nigeria. sell them to the private that can come in and take them over and maybe put them into a better functioning. But people will always say, if you sell them, you are selling them to the bourgeoisie, to the capitalist, then you are taking national assets and giving to the few individuals. But here you are, and I'll come back to that one later, because so many of such assets that have been sold in other sectors, for example, in the electricity sector, have not seen any, or Nigeria have not seen any significant difference from when they are owned by the government and when they are transferred to the private hand. So these are the general problems that we are facing. So the shortage of petroleum products in this country, I stand to be corrected, may not end permanently until when, one, either we rejuvenate all the existing refineries, or private sector should be encouraged to come and establish their own refineries like Dangote is doing right now in Lagos, and encourage smaller refineries which are called moderate refinery, where you can refine 5 to 10,000 barrels per day and much more than that. When you have availability, all I'm trying to say is it is only when you are producing locally that you can have availability. Once you are importing, and once we are importing with the Naira exchange rate at so exorbitant rate as of today of 740 Naira to $1, of course, you cannot get fuel at the price that you are trying to say the common man should get, a price of 250 or 290 Naira. At the moment, a liter of petroleum is being sold outside to the black market over 500 Naira. And even if subsidy is removed, that petroleum product per liter will cost between 307 Naira to 350 Naira. And still people are arguing and shouting. I'm not saying people don't have right to complain. This is their country. And they consider this petroleum product as a God blessed to them. God decided to situate Nigeria on the latitude where it is and blessed with so many mineral deposits beneath the earth, part of which the petroleum product is part of. And until now, the people are suffering to get this fuel. They cannot get it at the time they want. And even when they get it, they have to cry through their nose, which is very unfortunate. It is not a failure of one particular individual or a group of few people. It is a collective failure, a systemic failure for a very long period of time.
All right.
I'm not saying this because of this present government of APC, which I belong to, which I'm part of.
Yes.
Has failed like other people are saying, but because this has come over the time. And let me tell you this, what even worries me more, when President Muhammad Buhari assumed leadership of this country, the usual pearl queues during the end of their Christmas period, festive periods have vanished. All of a sudden now it has come back. Why? Then there must be some saboteurs. Some people either within the NNPC or outside the NNPC, or people outside or within the government or outside the government are collaborating to bring hardship to people, untold hardship, simply because election is approaching. Whether they like it, election will come and go, and will continue to survive. And whoever is going to be there, I hope is going to be a person that will now look at Nigerians and say, look, this thing must stop. How he does it is a question of another day. But I think I would propose, this government should be courageous enough now to remove subsidy once and for all. Whatever consequences it will come up, the government has less than 3 months to go. And those that are around President Muhammad Buhari has already squandered his goodwill. He have lost it. Whether they want to hear it or they don't want, they have deceived this gentle old man. They have cheated him. The common man brought him by his bare hand, but their bare foot. People tried to go and vote for President Muhammad Buhari. People donated their money to vote for President Muhammad Buhari. And now they are thinking that because Buhari is going out and they must dictate who succeeds him, and whoever will succeed him is the person that will be in their own pocket. That will never happen. They are not God.
Honorable Sarkin, Adar.
God. So much has happened. No, let me talk, please. You invited me to express my opinion. Please let me talk, please. We are talking for Nigeria. This country is ours. We don't have anywhere to go.
Well,
those that have gotten money, even the things that can leave the country or go anywhere, I'm not going anywhere. I'll remain here. Or Dr. Rubian, please let me preach my point. People will understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I know. Just to remind you that this is a question and answer format that we go by. You've been talking for 12 minutes.
I'm answering you. I'm giving you an answer where I started. You didn't allow me to finish. Let me finish, please. For the sake of Nigeria, please. Let's save this country, please. I am an APC candidate. I'm holding a seat already. I'm elected. I'm seeking re-election. That does not mean I shall not voice out my opinion based on what has happened to this country, which you and I are not happy. Or I don't know if you're among those that are happy that President Muhammad is failing so that another government will come out of. No, it's about Nigeria's survival. Whether anybody likes it or not, whoever will succeed President Muhammad Buhari will be determined by God Almighty, not by him. Let everybody go anywhere and do whatever he thinks he could do. Another government will come. And those that are part of this government will never be part of it. Let them stop deceiving themselves. That they are going every night, meeting here, meeting there, meeting with all sorts of people that okay, we give you something to London. When you come, carry us along. They will not carry you along. You are deceiving yourselves. Your time is off. You have had bad time. If you want to be carried along, be good to people. If you are even outside of government, if you have helped people, if you do your right thing,
Honorable Sarkin, we need to ask more questions.
You don't have to fear anything.
Yes, we hear you. We hear you. Thank you very much. But we need to ask a few more questions because there are a few areas that you would like for you to address whilst you're here. You've said a lot of things, and you talked about the saboteurs. You started off with fuel subsidy, and then ended, in your conversation, you talked about saboteurs. Nigerians are talking about the hoarding being the reason for this scarcity, beyond the bigger issue around refineries and, the cost of refined products, bringing it in. But beyond that is this matter you talked about in terms of saboteurs. That's what we want to really push in. You're saying you don't want to mention names, you don't want to talk about it, but this is critical because for this particular fuel scarcity, NNPCL is saying that we are supplying. In the last week, they said they supplied 450 liters of petrol, but we are not seeing it. The queues are still on the road, So what is so talk about these saboteurs and how can this be addressed? Because at the end of the day, it's the Nigerian people that suffer.
Okay. I'm not here to blame anybody unnecessarily, and I'm not here to defend anybody as such as well. My concern is how do we bring in ease of life to the generality of the people. I am part of them. Right before I came here, my driver went to join the queue as early as 6 a.m. I was fortunate he got to it in less than 3 hours. Others are sleeping in the queue. So the question here is, over the time, measures are being adopted, measures are being put in place, but yet the problem persists. So the NNPC top management, especially those in the downstream, should now think out of their box. Where is really this problem? You are supplying so much, and to your belief, what you are supplying is much more than what is needed. Then how come the shortage? That's a very good question. Where are all our security agencies? Where are all our regulatory agencies? We have so many regulatory agencies, from the Consumer Protection Council to the upstream and downstream and midstream regulatory authority, which was former DPR. Where are they? And where are all the other civil societies that will go and start marching? See, whenever there's a policy derail, why can't they come out now? They don't have to demonstrate, but they can come and boast out and even go and meet the government. Let them go and talk to the president. He's the Minister of Petroleum. And tell him, look, the people you have assigned to do this role have failed. What are you going to do? When you came on from the beginning, like I said, you did well. Fuel queues vanished. Why is it now resurfacing now? Why is it resurfacing? Like I've said earlier, there must be saboteurs. And that saboteurs could be everywhere. It could be from those that are supplying it. It could be from those that are selling it. It could be from those that are transporting it. But we cannot say this is perennial problem can not be solved. It's an issue that can be tackled. Unfortunately, this is always a case with Nigeria, which people call Nigerian factor, which I don't believe into. That at any time you see a problem that can be solved within 2-3 days will linger for over years. All the top management of the NNPC supply chain management, in the downstream sector, what are they doing? You always go have meetings with these sectors, with this group, with that. You go outside the country, attending meetings all over. Yet, a particular problem is yet to be overcome. How come?
Anyway.
People go into the space and come back alive. People cut somebody's heart, stitch it, and that person survives.
Going back
you
to my
are having
question,
a problem here, you cannot solve it. What's the problem?
Honorable Sarkin Adar, going back to my question.
Go ahead.
I know you've explained, but we want to know, can you name the saboteurs? Because this is critical to Nigeria's security. Who are these saboteurs? I believe that the Nigerian people deserve to know.
I cannot mention the name of, say, Dr. Ruben or Hussein or you, EJK, no. The saboteurs are those that are given the trust on behalf of this country to run this particular sector.
The president?
And there are many, like I've said.
The president?
Yes, I'm giving, it's a wide sector. Yes, from the president down to the
So the president?
From him.
The NNPC?
He's elected. Yes, the president should first. The president should first ask the question, you guys, I've given you demanded, every memo you brought, I approved it. What is happening? Why is this oil fuel queue not ending? Why? He should be able to ask that question. But he will not be allowed by the cohorts around him.
Who are these cohorts around him? Who are they?
And the NNPC, look, let me finish. Then the NNPC management, the GMD should now call his own staff. Look, gentlemen, we have so much liters of, millions of liters of fuel we have supplied. Why is it that it doesn't reach to the common man? Where is it going? Then the custom boss should be asked if the smuggling is what is causing this. Where are your people that you have promoted recently, that you have appointed over the time? You have recruited over 6,000 staff. Before you say you are understaffed, now you have gotten adequate staff. Why is it that fuel is still being smuggled out of this country? There are so many people involved. You and I are involved by part of this. Because if you don't buy at exorbitant rate, if you can decide to direct to your office, of course, if you have a patient, you cannot carry your patient on your lap. You have to use a car and you can buy fuel at any cost. But those that are using luxury cars, you pull up all your tankers and keep at your garage, waiting for nothing. You are encouraging the saboteurs to continue. Because if nobody buys, then the fuel must be available. And okay. I doubt the number or the quantity that is being supplied, that is being called, if really it is being supplied fast. And if it is actually supplied, the NNPC should be able to sanction the filling stations. They have the power. They can sanction them. If we supply you with 2 million liters, we must see, we know how many cars it can fill in the tank, and we know how many hours it can last. So we cannot give you 2 million liters today, and tomorrow we come and we find empty tanks there. That means there's diversion, which means more than 50% of that is diverted to other areas, to outside this country. There are so many things that need to be done. It's a collective responsibility. Like what I have said, it's a collective failure. It is not only one segment.
Honorable Adar, let's discuss another major subject.
Yes, sir.
That is on our list, which is the scarcity of the new Naira notes and the tension that we have seen across the country. Protests, people now going to ATM spots with mattresses and cooking gas, and people sleeping in front of banks, bankers escaping, through the fence and running away, some of them not even opening their branches. And this fear that this could affect, the general elections. Although the CBN governor has said INEC should not worry, that money that INEC needs will be made available. Just as the managing director of the group managing director of NNPC Limited has said from next week, the fuel scarcity will ease off, even if there will still be queues, but that arrangements have been made and Nigerians should just be pitching. So next week, your driver may not have to spend 3 hours at the fuel station. But I want you specifically to comment on this Naira palaver, the new Naira note debacle.
The new Naira palaver, in one of my appearances before you here, I told you I supported the Naira redesign policy which was introduced by the CBN governor, believing it was going to, one, strengthen the Naira against the dollar, and two, it will also overcome the problems of ransom paying. When kidnappers kidnap any victim of theirs and they will ask for money, if there's no cash, then of course they will be out of supply of their arms and they will be out of supply of information by the informants, and aside it will reduce. That was my assumption then. Now that I'm seeing the consequences that untold hardship are being applied to majority of Nigerians, including myself. I am from a village. I live with my brothers in the village. I know how they are suffering, and they are farmers, fully agrarian farmers, that they rely on their farm produce to live their life. By when they sell their onions, I've told you we are the largest producer of onion in this country, Gada local government and Goranyo, the largest producer of garlic. So now, many of them have no bank accounts. They are now forced to sell their products at a very lower rate, almost more than 40% discounted, which is very sad, after they bought the seeds, the fertilizer, and the fuel to pump their generators at a very higher exorbitant rate. Now the harvesting people have started coming up. Instead of them to smile, they are now crying because there's no cash to pay. However, the policy was said to have been intended for good, but midway, some people sandwiched it and brought in their internal, their interests, targeting certain particular individuals in this country. My concern is not about election. Election will come and go. Naira or no Naira, election will come and go. Or a new government will come and go after May 29. And that government will not be and could not be an ING. It must be a duly electorate government by Nigerians, whoever they elect among the presidential aspirants, and whoever they elected among the governorship and the National Assembly members. That's another thing. The most important thing is those people that are entrusted with this thing, from the CV and governor to whoever that cares to listen, please, they should have fear of God. If they actually believe in the faith they profess as Muslims or Christians, if they actually believe that God exists, that they go to Friday or Sunday to worship every day, and they always call and swear by, if they actually believe, please, they should have empathy on the masses of this country.
Well, Honorable,
really suffering.
Honorable, if I may.
Now imagine, let me put this up.
No, there's a breaking news. There's breaking news which may be relevant to your comment. And this has to do with this Naira issue. And it's as follows. The Supreme Court on Wednesday temporarily halted the move by the federal government to ban the use of the old Naira notes from February 10, 2023. A 7-member panel led by Justice John Okoro halted the move of the federal government in a ruling in an ex parte application brought by 3 northern states of Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara. The 3 states are specifically applied for an order of interim injunction restraining the federal government through the Central Bank of Nigeria or the commercial banks from suspending or determining or ending on February 10, 2023, the time frame with which the now older versions of the 200 Naira, 500 Naira, and 1,000 Naira denominations of the Naira may no longer be legal tender, pending the hearing and determination of their motion or notice for interlocutory injunction. While he referred to a Central Bank of Nigeria statistics, we put the number of people who don't have bank accounts at over 60%. Mustafa lamented that a few Nigerians with bank accounts can't even access their monies from the bank as a result of the policy. So that's the detail, Honorable Sarkin Adar, which I thought may be relevant to you. Honorable, are you still there?
Good breaking news. God have answered our prayers, God have prevailed, and God have shown those that don't want anything good for this country that is in charge. So this should be a lesson to them. They should go and repent, and they should apologize to Nigerians. And God is wonderful, and God is merciful, and God is miracle, and He has done it for us. And I thank God, I thank God, I thank God for this. Okay. So let's move on.
And I
don't have any much to say with this.
And we thank you too for joining us on the morning show today. Thank you very much, Honorable Musa Sarkin Adar.